Hey everyone, this week we decided to go to Arkadia and work on some codexes. And so I thought we would start out with these Bokol. I don't know how you pronounce it really. We haven't killed these yet, and so I figure we would open these up. They start hit point wise about 250 hit points on up. We'll see if the pixie armors and the sword is enough, or if we start running into problems, we can upgrade to a little bit more DPS or back to our mayhem armor. But a critical only doing 10 damage is a good indicator that might be okay, especially with the lifesteal. There's that Codex. Let's go ahead and grab that. About 3% per kill. That's pretty standard, I think. We'll just see how bad these guys start to group up and whatnot. They don't seem to have a high aggro radius, which is good since we're using the sword today just to kind of work up our strength, get some hit points rolling maybe. I really liked Arcadia. I spent a little bit of time here sweating and swunting when I first started playing, and was doing mothership runs out of Arcadia. There's just a lot of low-level mobs, so it's kind of a nice uh, newer players hunting ground, kind of. There are some high mobs with high hit points, though 1600, 2000, but there's a pretty big list of smaller mobs, and this would be the upper end of the hit points on the smaller mobs. And so we're really trying to get some of that. I forget which melee combat skill it is. Oh, not that one though. That's not the hit point one, I don't think. Anyway, there's a couple of melee skills that grant us hit points, and then we want to get a couple of strength increases. Just we're trying to get that built up a little bit, increase our carry capacity. And then we'll work through and see how far we get on this codex. I expect to get at least a rank or two today. And then as we get that, we'll see what skills it wants to give us. I see these guys drop a lot of orange paint though. That's nice. That has reasonable markup. 400% I think still. Let's take a look. Oh, it's really come down. 200%. Still, 200, 250% is a pretty reasonable amount of markup, especially if you get an okay amount of said item. Maybe it is that melee damage assessment that's the hit point one. Well, we'll see if I can look that up while we're putting these guys down. Oop, wrong button. Looks like we got some steel blue paint as well. Nice. There's a little global, almost 14 ped. It's melee combat. That's the hidden skill we're trying to build up for hit points, it looks like. And courage. Now, obviously, like combat reflexes will give us a little bit as well. Oh, and that martial arts one we unlocked at level 20. And coolness, I guess. So there's a handful of hit point skills we'll be working up. The coolness we work up from any combat, I think. But that melee combat is a hit point skill. Like every 533 points, you get one hit point, which is how most of the skills are. There's just a lot. Hit points don't come easy, that's for sure. Yeah, this Codex is coming along quite nicely. And these guys do not aggro hardly at all. I mean, we had those couple that we had to take together, but definitely a pretty small aggro radius, which is nice for melee characters. We would have just switched to a rifle if it was too bad. But I do have 2A plates on almost all the pieces of this pixie armor. I don't know if that makes a big difference. We are still taking a little bit of damage. I'm assuming from the stab component of their damage, which is around 38-40% or something like that, the amount of their total damage output. And the stab component of pixie armor and the plates is both pretty small. And this is a pretty reasonable density of these. And so we're just kind of west of that ocean lookout. Some nice low level or low maturity. I think it's kind of young to old so far is all we've seen. I'm just excited because it's a new codex and the hit points aren't too extreme on them. Oh, there's that strength increase I wanted. And you see it's 0.0004. So that's going to be a little on the slow side to work up, as you could imagine. to see they will aggro, but again, not a huge radius since the one right kind of almost on top of us has not aggroed yet. Looks like they have a pretty good variety of loot they drop though. Obviously a lot of eye oil, shrapnel, but a few different paint cans. Now I think that's the third different color we've gotten. Yeah. And this one might give us our Codex rank. Alright, let's see what we got. Well, that's a pretty small reward on the first one, but definitely got to grab up that dexterity. Elusive Provider, this is the highest maturity we've seen down here so far. Oh, looks like we got a little bit of hide. So yeah, pretty pretty reasonable grouping. I don't even think we've seen it all yet on even this semi on the uncommon stuff, let alone the rare stuff. But yeah, these aren't bad at all. Even with just the mentor armor, I think you would be doing okay. You'd have to stop and heal a little bit here and there, I think. The lifesteal amp really kind of helps out there. But we're getting a bunch of paint. That's kind of cool. They still hit okay hard through the armor though, even once you get up on these olds and stuff. That 10 damage a hit stacks up when they're hitting you every time, or almost every time. Or are we getting into higher maturities, or is just nah, just a randomness? They are seeming to be a little more spread out though, so we might kind of head back a little bit and stay with these groupings that seem to be a little tighter. Oh, that was a nice critical, 24 points through the armor. This guy's critical kind of seemed to critical more often than the other monsters that we fought over the last few months. Yeah, it's always nice to find a few monsters, and there's a few on this planet that we haven't hit yet. And so the first few levels will be some relatively quick codex, which should give us an attribute boost or two. That's always super exciting, since stats are a little hard to work up usually. In fact, I think we get an attribute at the end of this next codex that we work up. Whether it's this rank 2 or something else. I think it's going to be this rank 2. I think we're still making really good progress. And I don't think they drop anything that we're really after loot wise. This is literally just going to be about the Codex. I had a little bit of a fun hunt, and then we globaled right pretty early, which is always nice to hear the little trumpets go off. Um, Typically doesn't happen too often for us. Oh, a Guardian. We should get that other one here pretty fast, I think. Yeah, there it goes. Yeah, that Guardian starts to hit a little harder. It's noticeable, we'll say. But then a few singles and that life steal, and we'll have all our life back. So, oh, that was a nice little strength boost, like a quadruple boost almost. And you might want a little bit more DPS than the 30 or so we're bringing with this sword. Um, this is just still just the remnants of those uh, blades we made a while back that we're still attempting to burn through. I think we got this one and one more. I don't know if that guy's just down the side of the hill or if he's down, if there's water and whatnot down there. Oh, there is. Scrolling back. Well, it's not letting me target whatever's down there. Well, back to killing. I wonder if that's where like some of those jewelry are. I wonder if they're in that river channel leading up into this area because I think they are up in this area. Low level aquatic hunt. Oh, nice, we got a little bit of animal hide. I don't think we really have a use for it on this planet, and we won't get enough to that it's going to be worth trying to take it off the planet. I don't think, which is kind of the only downside to not sticking to one planet. But I really enjoy the variety and all the different codexes and the change of scenery. So for me, it's worth it. Well, that was about 4%. That was a little higher maturity though, so still getting 2-3% per kill probably. One and a half ish. Whoa, there's some fruit on the ground. Let's grab that up. That's the other thing about doing a variety of hunts. You're going to different areas. You sometimes find stone or fruit on the ground. Um, and while fruit walking is really boring, it is nice to find some here and there. For most people, it's just something a little extra to sell when you get a thousand or a few thousand built up. Or you can turn it into um, pet food, Nutrio bars. I don't have any of the real textures, so I don't know what this Bokol hide's used for. I haven't really done any crafting on Arcadia, to be honest. Nice. We're almost to that, finishing up the second rank of Codex already. Oh, that was a nice one. 30 ped. Yeah, this one will give us that rank. We'll see what we're getting for a skill. I think it kind of goes dex, dex, perception, perception, evasion. But, oh, apparently I had a quest for those still. Interesting. We'll take the dex. That gave us some short blade skill. Cool. Was working a quest I didn't even know about. Or didn't remember about, I guess. Down to about 1% per kill or so. Or around 100 kills for the next Codex rank. So definitely starting to slow down a little bit. That's how it always is. The first couple are super easy, and then it starts getting a little more grindy, we'll say, as you have to grind a little further. Well, this seems like a pretty thick area. It was a little more sparse before this. Just hit level 26 swordsman hit, which is kind of nice. We're slowly working that up. We're not in a super big hurry to try and level up that necessarily. Like I said, we were more interested in the hit points, and we generated a blueprint to make some swords, and so I figured why not. Well, the sword's taken a long time to work through, but we're actually working through that amp um, semi-fast. That's about halfway gone when we just looked. But it's lasted a long time for us. We're pretty excited about it, honestly. Pretty excited. I've had that amp for months. I don't use it on every sword, only when we need the actual healing. And so yeah, this west and south area right near that ocean lookout seems to be a great spot for these low-level Bokols. So what all did we get? We got a pretty good variety of loot here. Obviously, mostly shrapnel, like always. All right, we're a third of the way through the rank 3, and so it's not taking us very long at all to kind of churn through these a little bit, which is super nice. It'll still take us a long time to get through all 25 ranks, but I'm glad that other one took a second to aggro. Oh, there's some more fruit on the ground. Oh, that's a fair amount too. So Arcadia is kind of famous for big stacks of fruit. I've seen people post like 200 plus finds on some of the like Tolan and whatnot. You find like 20. I think that Molucca timber is used in some furniture making and whatnot. Again, I haven't done any crafting really on Arcadia, but I'm pretty sure a bunch of the timber is used to make those veneers. Well, that puts us halfway through that rank 3. I think this is where we're going to wrap up today. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day. Stay epic.